Hey guys, Zero here. Welcome back to another video. And as you can tell, we're continuing on more about Brittany Venti. Now, a few things I want to emphasize to you guys here is that, of course, I don't condone harassment. And so I know that the thing is, she will use this as fuel, like any harassment will use as fuel to make herself look more right. She is someone who will just create bad takes, bad information, and as you can see from my last video as well, especially the one actually that's 20 minutes long, she just makes statements just to make them look bad, but doesn't really connect things, right? And so I want to emphasize that she's just a troll that seeks attention, and I know, like, yes, me making this video is giving her attention, but really my purpose here is to make sure that people who actually watch her videos think about actually what she's saying. Because, again, all she does is throw statements out there, and whatever people believe, they just connect the dots for themselves. No actual arguments have been made in her videos, just plain statements, right? So, even one thing to show you that, like, obviously she's trolling at this point, she's been doing for years as well. As far as I know, apparently she's been doing since like 2015. We move on to a tweet that she made recently, yesterday. This right here, like, look at that. No one who's actually sane would say, oh wow, this is apple juice, I'm thirsty, let me drink it. Even in a reply here, I'm kinda thirsty, and the nearest store isn't for a mile, might drink it. Like, this is obviously a troll at this point, so do not believe anything she says, she's just a plain troll. So, it would be very appreciative, and I know this sounds like preachy, but like, just spread this message, and if you want to share this video, that'd be heavily appreciated, but the main thing is just tell people, stop giving her attention. Okay, that's the main message that I want to say about her. And so we can move on to more about what we're talking about here. And my purpose, again, to make her accountable for what she says and make people understand, okay, maybe I should think more about what she's saying instead of just taking what she says at face value. So a small update, I just want to bring the webcam back to me a little bit there, is that I did talk about an account called Yuko Kubozono, and a friend of mine brought this to my attention that there's, like, we already knew it was kind of suspicious, especially looking at the tweets. They were just heavily political on one side or another. Well, definitely on one side for sure. And as far as I understand it, Cover Corp themselves is a company that doesn't really want to look political, and that's very understandable. Just don't make politics. You make a bit more money. You definitely get more good press that way, and I can definitely respect that. So that was strange already, and my friend that pointed me that sent me a video about that by Mr. Hirohei, which is definitely a famous guy. I'm kind of doing a similar thing as he does, but he's definitely done a better job. He has more time on his hands than I do. He does his research very well, and I respect that. He's also a very good person who commentates on, legitimate things, I feel. Anyway, so his evidence, well, what he has found is that this person removed their information saying that they were associated with Cover Corp in any way. So again, this is the same thing. Be skeptical of everything that you see, especially when it seems somewhat wrong. And I definitely felt that account felt a little weird. Of course, I didn't express that in there. I just thought, okay, I'm skeptical, but I'll just keep it like on the down low for now. And so now the thing is too, also the account has been privated, so you can't see those tweets anymore. So that does sound a bit dubious. So we can continue on more about Venti here. You don't have to see my face anymore. So we'll switch over to a different tweet here. Now, what's interesting here is that this tweet in particular says, if you're a licensed psychiatrist, please message me for a research project. This is obviously a bait, right? The reason why it's a bait, because she's already made various videos on different topics, and with people in the anime community who are trying to defend Lolicons and the idea of loli art, people are definitely piling on saying, wow, you are talking about lollies, aren't you? The other thing, though, is she did make a bad video bad take on furries. Now, say what you will about furries, but her video definitely was a weird one, similar to what about Lolicons. She said that furries were inherently sexual. And that's, I mean, at least some anecdotal evidence I've got, most of them I've met, pretty nice people, not just weirdly sexual in conversation, just a normal person wearing a fursuit, as far as I know. And someone who is a furry made a response video to that, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. It's really weird. Very similar thing where she's just like, everything is sexual, I don't like it. And that's what Venti is doing. She's like, everything is bad because it's sexual. And it's like, there's no connection. You're not making any actual statements on these kind of things. Where do these things connect? If you're on the internet, Rule 34 exists. And Rule 34, if you guys don't know, is a rule of the internet stating that if something exists, there will be porn of it. And that always holds true. Even if you don't intend something to be sexual, someone might be into that shit. Simply put. So this could be a bait here, just get people riled up again. And really, now this is just my 2 cents here. There's a second tweet, says the very same thing. She's vetting them and needs multiple opinions on a documentary. I don't know. Again, we don't know what this is working on. But would you not want a psychologist for this thing? Because this is, if it's talking about furries or lolicons, would you not want a psychologist, and specifically someone who focuses on criminology? Because then you actually would understand about crime and sexual things. And she even says for some reason furries target children specifically. And again, there's no evidence that she's presenting. Yes, there are some, there's weird people in every community. And people are only criminals when they actually commit crimes. And there's some weird things I've seen online for sure about a particular person who is a furry, but that does not imply every furry is that kind of criminal. So and it's the same thing. Actually, there's a video I definitely want to call out that was really great. But before I say that, I just want to say if this does address either furries or lollies in this fashion that I assume it would be, I bet $10. Even if the information is legitimate, it'll just be thrown on the wall, statements said just to sound negative, or just taken out of context, or just there's no connection. That's what I'm saying. I'm willing to bet $10 that she just uses information and uses it wrongly. So going back to what I said earlier about a video that someone linked me, I will go back to my own video here, self promotion. The very top here, you can see I pinned this comment right here. And I don't know these characters very well. And there's pretty sure some kanji in there, so I don't know that very well. But it looks like the pronunciation, I've written it down here for myself as well, is Dorako Yano to Nihon de Wanai. And something Japan not. I don't know what that Dorako Yanto. I don't know what that might be. Maybe just a username in a different foreign language. Again, because it looks like there's some kanji in there. Anyway, so they linked me to a wonderful video in defense. It's called In Defense of Loli Art and Lolicon. I'm in the middle of it actually right now, but it has done a very good job of presenting criminals are only criminals when they commit an act. It's a very strange thing that you just to label people as criminals just for being into certain content. It is when, again, criminals are criminals when they commit crimes. And to me, also, a criminal will commit a crime even if it's illegal. That's just my take on that. And so one interesting thing they do note in this video is they talk about court cases in Canada and the US and depictions of children in artwork. Now, what's interesting to note is that, in summary, it says that Canadian law kind of puts it as a slippery slope, as the same as what Venti is trying to say it is, in that you must ban this kind of artwork because it will eventually make someone hurt people. And I disagree with that for sure. Yeah, and this is my country we're talking about here. And in the US, it was very different, where if the creation of the artwork and the artwork itself is inherently protected under their law of free speech, and unless the creation of the artwork does hurt someone, and I completely respect that. In many ways, I know people say, America's not that great, but the one thing that I respect about America is the Second Amendment, where you are able to say anything, and if you just don't need to hurt anyone, you can say anything you want. And I may disagree with some people, but I am happy that there's a country out there that allows people to express themselves in any way they want. And again, it doesn't mean that people are gonna go out there and hurt people. And so this video, I forgot to mention. Now the name is blank here, but I went to their own YouTube channel. I found out their name is from what I just had here, Esphelectra. And that looks like a Toho character. I believe it's a Toho character as their avatar. So look at that video for sure. They do have other video topics as well in anime. And I'm very interested in this like trap idea. I'm because it's a very interesting conversation. He seems to be a very good commentator and serious about these kind of things. So definitely check out the video out. And I think that's all I got to say for today. If put your thoughts down below about Miss Venti and her ridiculous antics. I'm sure you have a lot to say about that kind of thing. And again, very skeptical about people responding to Venti who want to be a voice of authority or even like what she says later on. And share the video, like it, subscribe to the channel if you would like to, and I'll see you guys in the next video.